Okay, welcome to the level 2 walkthrough of the theory exam. So I'm going to be on the iPad screen recording, and all I'm going to do is talk through all the questions, all the answers, and explain how it's done. Okay, so question 1, complete the table below on pitch name, letter name, duration name and duration values. The first one's been done for you. So let's zoom in. Because the first one's been done, it's a bit of a gift for us. Alright, so we can look and say, right, well that says it's D, so we know that line there is D. So we can work our way up, all the way up, so it could be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And in the same token, we can work our way down. Alright, so it's gave us that for free. However, we don't have to use that because we know if I zoom into this, we know that that line there is G. Okay, if we should all remember that because I've spoke about it so many times, and that's how I work it out. So I know that's G. Next one up's A, B, C, D. So I know that that's D, and it's not just because it's gave me it as an answer here, but I knew it. Alright, because we worked it out just there. And then it's saying duration name, alright, which is basically the note's name. It's a quaver, so it's a note that's got a stem and one tail, so we know it's a quaver. If it had two tails, it'd be a semiquaver. Three tails, it'd be a demi-semiquaver. But it only has the one tail. And it's an eighth note. And if you're unsure of the duration value, think back to the duration table. Remember we'd done the duration table a while ago where we had the semi-breve and then we split in half. Then we had two minims and they were the half notes, split them in half. And I know I'm drawing over the sheets here, but you're getting an idea as a reminder. As a quarter note. And then we split them in half and we had quavers and so on and so forth. They were the eighth note. Alright, that was your duration table. That'll really help you when it comes to doing this. Okay, so let's have a shot of this one then. And I'm going to move this up here so I can still see it. So let's have a look. So if we zoom in, we said that line was G. So the next space is going to be A. So remember, every line in space, you're changing the letter. So we started with G, then A, then B, C, D, and so on and so forth. So we know by looking at that, G is the line, that's A. So my answer to go in this space here is A. And then if we look at the note itself, it's a note that's got a stem and a filled in note head. So that note's going to be a crotchet. So I would write crotchet. And again, thinking back to the duration table we just spoke about, it's a quarter note. And you would get full marks for that because that's correct. Okay. And our next one, let's have a look. So same again, G, A, B. So I know that's going to be B. And then if I look at the note, it's a hollow note head with a stem, which tells me that that's a minim. So we'll write minim in here. I-N-I-M, minim. And again, thinking of our duration table, a minim is a half note. And then next one, G, A, B. So that's a B. It's the exact same as that one. It's on the exact same position. Alright, and you might think, well, it can't be B because we've already had a B. If you think it's B and it's on that space, it is a B, boys and girls. Okay? And that's a quaver and it's got 1, 2, 3 tails. So it's going to be a demi-semiquaver. So we can write that in. D for demi, E for emi, M for me, demi, semi quaver, and the fractional value of the demi-semi quaver is a 32nd note. And then with this one, alright, it's not a gift, but you can tell that we've done that one already. It's a quaver, so you should not be getting those two wrong. Alright, it's an absolute gift. So you could potentially write that in already. So I'm going to do that, because it's the exact same note. Copy that one, it's the exact same fractional value. If you get ones like that wrong, where it's giving you it here, then you're a bit mental. Okay, so all we need to do now is figure out the pitch name. So let's have a look. So there was G again, A, B, C. So it's a C. So we'll write C in there. Done. Have we done this one before? I don't think so. Let's have a look. Nope. So we've not done that one. But let's have a look. We'll get the pitch name first. So G, A, B, C, D. Wah. And I'll just rub that out. Oh, I must say I am absolutely loving this iPad screen records. Brilliant. So that's a semi-quaver, because it's a quaver and it's got 1, 2 tails. So it's a semi-quaver, and we'll write that in here. And the fractional value of the semi-quaver was a 16th note. And then the last one, let's zoom into it again. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So that's an F. That's right. F. And then we'll rub that out. And that is, oh, geez, oh. Went a bit madder. Semi-breve is the name of that note. And the fractional value of the semi-breve is a whole note. Okay, so make sure you write that. Okay, so that, boys and girls, would be question 1 done. Okay, and the time you've been given for the test is an hour, but you'll find that you'll probably scoosh through it a bit quicker than that if you're confident with this. On the blank stave below, write the note specified. So it's not giving us a time signature on any of these. So you don't need to worry about drawing a time signature. You don't need to draw a treble clef. Like, you don't need to do any of that. Okay, so please don't think that you need to. All we need to do is draw a quaver. And again, if you're unsure, this is where it's a gift. All right. There's a quaver there. All right. So I'm just going to draw that on here. And you won't see me do this, all right, but I've got my ruler underneath the note, and I'm going to draw straight down and do my flick. Oh, although that didn't work, there it is. Semi-breve. I've got a semi-breve right there. Done. Minim, again, I could go up if I want to, but I'm not going. I'm just going to draw it on here. I know the minim is a hollow note head with just a stem. And that's it there. Crotchet is a filled in note head and a stem. And that's it there. And with this question, you've got 8 marks by the looks of it for this example, certainly. You might find that you get a mark for drawing it right, and you get a mark for neatness. Alright, so an example of a very unneat quaver I'll show you just now would be just doing that. And it is correct, but geez, oh, it looks honking. Alright, so I'm going to draw my one in again and make it nice and pretty. And it doesn't take long to do. That little bit of effort makes it look smart. Using lines match each note type to a note duration. Okay, and again, we're on about duration here. So this first note is a quaver, and we know it is an 8th note. So we're going to get our pen ruler and do a line from there to there. Semi-breve is the whole note, so we're finding the whole note and going there to there. Last one's a minim, which is a half note, and we're going from there to there. And that's what you should end up with. Okay, just drawing a line from one to another. It's literally that easy. And you might think, well, is this what we're going to have? This one, and this one for the test. This is only a mock paper. Okay, so you might find on the test that you actually have a semiquaver there, and you would need to find what one it is. You might find instead of a, what do you call it, a minim, that you've got a crotchet here, and I've just coloured that in. But that's what you might end up with. So please don't try and memorise this paper, because it's extremely likely that it will be the same idea of question, but potentially different notes in here and different names in there. The following diagram shows a quaver note. Using the boxes, label the note heads, so it's giving you the answer, the stem and the tail, so it's gave you the answer. That is a gift. All right. The bottom of the note, that there cannot be the note head because it's at the bottom. Okay. So the note head is the easiest one. So I'm going straight in there and going note head. And tail is always at the bottom, so I'm going straight in there with the tail. And the only one that you've got left is the stem. And by now you should know what all those three are. But I just used method of elimination there and I got there. Okay. What happens to a note after when you place a dot after it? The value of the note is increased by half of its original value. So I'm right, the value is increased by half, and you have to write half of its original, hopefully you can read my writing, value. And you don't have to do a diagram on this, but I'm going to do one just here. Alright, so say I've got a dotted crotchet. That dotted crotchet is equal in value to the crotchet we started with and a quaver. That's what the dot does to the note. It increases its value. And remember, in drumming, we wouldn't play that and that, okay? When we're dealing with drumming, it's a space between notes. Okay, so if you've got just a normal crotchet, it would be 1, 2, that example, like just beats like this. But if you've got, let's say we change, this is a better example, change it to quavers, 1 and, 1 and. If you were to put a dot on it, it'd be 1 and, 1 and. See, I'm stretching it. Okay, so it's making the gap from one note to the next longer. Oh, I didn't even think to read this question. All right, because what I've just done kind of says it here. Right, 2 notes that would be equal value to the dotted crotchet shown. All right, so straight away, we're going to take that crotchet. We're going to write it in here as neat as we can. And then we're going to write the value of the dot in here. And if you can't remember, I'm going to tell you, the value of the dot was a quaver, just as we done up there, all right, when I was explaining it. So we're fairly churning through this. So in the space below, draw a single line stave. So we're going to do this one bit at a time. So draw a single line stave. Right, so let's do that. And I'm going to try and zoom out a bit so my ruler can fit the whole page. So I'm using a ruler on an iPad screen. Done. Divide the stave into 4 equal bars. So let's start here. We'll do a bar line here. Then I'll go right into the middle. Then one at the end. And you might think, well, it's only 2 bars. I'm getting there. Whoa, whoa. So there's my 4 bars. Draw the treble clef on the correct position on the stave. Okay, so because it's asking for a treble clef, I'm going to draw a line out to here. There's my treble clef there. In each bar you've drawn, write a single note or notes or group of notes that are equal in value to 2 crotchet beats. Okay, so it's asking for 2 crotchets. If you can think of your time signatures, alright, the top number told you the amount of beats per bar, so it's telling you it's 2, so let's do a 2. And the crotchet beats are quarter notes. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so the top number said 2, which is 2. Got that. Crotchets, the fractional value of the crotchets were a quarter. So we can safely establish that the value you were wanting us to write out a 2/4 here. Okay. So I've done loads and loads of videos and in-person and online sessions on writing music like this, but I'm going to do it just now, okay, for us. So, oh, have I got something I can rub out there? Yep. The very first bar I always write is just what the value of the beat note is. Okay, so we'll zoom in a little bit. I always do 2 crotchets every time. Okay, and if this was a 3/4, you would put a 3rd crotchet in there, but it's only 2/4, so we're only doing 2. So to make it different, in this bar, or this space, we could take this crotchet and split it in half, which is what we'll do. Split a crotchet in half and you get 2 quavers. Like that. And if you wanted, you could do the same here in this space, but we're not going to do that. Okay, we want to make it a little bit different. I'm going to do another crotchet. And then in this group, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So all I'm going to do is I'll take these 2 quavers and I'm going to put them in there, but I'm going to split them in half. So anytime you split anything in half, you're going to do double the amount. So imagine you had like 1 chocolate bar, a big chocolate bar. You split it in half, you're going to have 2 bits of chocolate bar. I had 2 bits of chocolate bar, splitting it in half, I've now got 4 bits of chocolate bar, or cake, or whatever you want to split in half and share with me. So the lines are a wee bit skewy, just a touch, but it's just because I'm using the iPad and the Apple Pencil. So that's what I've got there. You could do your 2 quavers again in here, alright, because it's slightly different. But what I'm going to do is take this group and put it in here, but I'm going to mess about with it a little bit. Okay, so I'll take the 4 demi-semis and I'm going to draw them again, and don't you copy me just now, I just want to watch this, right? So I'm going to draw them in 2, 3. I'm going to take these 2 and add them up. And when I add up 2 notes together, I end up with 1. So I should, if I add up these 2 notes, end up with 1 quaver. And I'm trying to be really accurate with my rubber here. So let's draw my quaver in there. And as we remember, quaver is a note, filled in note head with a stem and 1 tail. And that works there. I'll make this bottom bit a little bit neater for you, because I'm harping on about neatness. And then what we could do is take that one again and throw it in here. Right, left, right, left. But I'm going to tinker about with it again, like we just did. But instead of the first 2, which was those 2, I'm going to get rid of the back two and add them together. And you should hopefully see where I'm going with this, right? It's going to end up the exact opposite in terms of looking at of what we've just played. So I end up with a quaver there this time. And you could do the same with rests if you wanted to. Oh, that's a bit wild. Right, let me tidy that up. That's a bit crazy. Crazy. That's a bit better. And then I'm just going to finish off with a crotchet. Grand. And now that I'm done, I'm actually going to neaten up this bit because that just looks so tatty, it's insane, that one there. So let me fix my one line stave, and then it was right, left, so semi, quaver, done. And that's it. Okay, and I was being quite fancy on that bit there. You don't have to be fancy, okay? Write what you feel adds up. Because you could have theoretically took that and wrote it in there. And then you could have mixed this up and threw it in there. Like, you don't have to go nuts with the technical bits on it. On the stave below, show how a line of music would be repeated. So you've got two things to do here. You've got 2 dots to add on that, and then you've got your double bar line to add on that. Okay, so let's do that just now, but make it a lot neater. So we'll zoom in. There's my 2 dots. I'm going to go across to this one as my double bar line. 2 dots. Done. And read the question, okay? Because it says show how a line of music would be repeated. If it said explain, then you would need to blah, 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 write about it. Okay, but it's not asking you to explain it, it's just saying show. So you've done it there and you've done it there. You've shown how to do it. That's you answered the question. And then we get to the last question. I'm going to flip the iPad and hopefully this works. There we go. So it's screen's rotating, almost like you would if you were turning a page on the paper. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of that because that was a wee example I was trying to do earlier. Copy the following line of music into the staff provided. So you're just copying the music out. Okay, so you're looking directly above and making sure everything that is in here on every bit you're going to copy out note for note. So straight away, I've got the time signature and the repeat marks. That's the very first thing. And then if I look across, 2 quavers, so I'm going to write them in as neat as I can. And then I've got a right flam, I'm going to copy that as neat as I can. And I'm making sure everything's exactly the same. Moving across, I've got paradiddle. So again, I'm going to do one group at a time, and I'm going to make sure that group fits in the same space, and it doesn't suddenly fill up the whole bar, because if it does, you'll struggle to fit that in this little space there. So let's do the paradiddle first. And don't stress about your note heads not being the perfect circle, because when I'm personally writing note heads, it's almost like a wee oval I do. Okay? And it's not the end of the world. And then the next group is left, right. Left, right. And then we've got left flam, right tap. Let's do that. Left flam, right tap. And if you're doing it like this, like I am, doing literally one group at a time, I feel you can't go wrong. Okay? Because you might, if you just do this and then skip straight to that one, you might miss the fact that this has got a dot and that's got a cut. Because you will lose marks for that. Okay? So let's copy it in now. So left. Oh, geez, oh. You got squint. Dot. Cut. And then we're finishing off with our right flam. And then it looks like a left 7-stroke roll, so let's draw that in. 7-stroke roll. Up, up. Done. And then we've got our double bar line at the end. And repeat marks. And that's it for that question. That's it done. Okay. So, if I was to try, and let's see if I can flip this back. I'm going to have a look. That's us done every single question now. Okay, so we started with the pitch names and the durations, blasted through the staves and writing the notes, naming the notes, and remember on the test you might find, as I said before, that the question's the same but all of these are maybe different. Alright, so you're having to figure out what they are. Don't memorise these answers because it's going to be different. Exact same here. Probably going to be the same layout, but it might be a different note there. A different note there it's asking you for. So again, please don't memorise this. So every question will be the same. Make that as neat as you can. And when you get to the last one, it has to be especially neat. Alright. Because you don't want it to be mucky and messy. And that would be it. So as always, with things like this, please get in touch if you have any questions. I've never tried this before, using the iPad on the screen record. Hopefully it's worked okay. And as always, look forward to our next video.